10 tips on how to sell your home without a realtor. Tip number 1, you have to price it right. Pricing your home too high is just as bad as pricing it too low. In order to establish a realistic price range for your home, make sure you find out what homes are selling for in your area, as well as their features, such as bedrooms, baths, finished basements, and things of that nature. And also, if you can, find out what the terms were for the sales that occurred. Important terms to keep in mind: did the sellers on your street offer seller's assistance? Were all inspections waived? Knowing the little intricacies can be very important in helping you net the most amount of money for your home. Tip number 2, prepare your home for sale. First impressions are everything. Curb appeal is a big deal whether you believe it or not. Make sure those shrubs are trimmed, grass is cut, and any minor fix-ups that have to do with the outside of your home are taken care of. Tip number 3, provide yourself with all the necessary legal documentation. I'm in central Pennsylvania, and we have to provide seller's disclosures. States like Maryland, I don't believe you need them. So just be aware of what kind of documentation is needed in your state and your region if your state has different requirements based on the respective townships or boroughs. Here's a partial checklist to help you with some of those legal loopholes. This checklist will vary state by state. Make sure you have a realtor and attorney that can walk you through and provide you with all these documents. Tip number 4, market your home effectively. Now this is debatable depending on who you ask. You could get 10 different responses if you talk to 10 different people. But besides putting the sign up in your yard and putting it on Zillow, go the extra mile. I don't know of any for sale by owners that I've ever met that have sent out postcards to their neighborhood to let the neighborhood know the house is for sale. And also make sure that someone's answering your phone, or at the very least, make sure you have a detailed voicemail so that when potential buyers call you, they can get free information. And when they leave a voicemail, that'll give you the opportunity to call them back. If you're like most people, you have a full-time job and you can't always answer your phone. I recommend Google Voice numbers because they're free, and you can have them forward to your cell phone if you're just sitting around watching TV. So you're not missing out on any potential buyers. Tip number 5, remain objective during the sale of your home, especially showings. If you're like me, I'm an S personality, so if somebody says the paint by numbers that my nan painted when I was 4 years old looks silly, that's going to really irk me and make me mad. Try and step outside yourself and look at it from an objective standpoint. A lot of the times, if a prospective buyer says something negative about your house, they're just looking for more information. For example, if they give you feedback that you can correct, that was time well spent, and that's only going to help you going forward with more showings. Tip number 6, pre-qualify your prospects. Don't waste your time bringing people through your house that can't afford it. It's uncomfortable to ask these questions, but when you get them on the phone, just say, yeah, how have you determined your price range? Do you have a pre-approval? If they say yes, have them email you a copy. What you don't want to hear is someone that says, oh, money's no object, or if I like the house, then I'll get pre-approved. Tip number 7, negotiate effectively. This comes back to knowing the agreement that you signed and having a good team around you. So if you have a good real estate attorney, they'll be able to walk you through some of the clauses you can put in place and some of the other legal loopholes that you can use to your advantage during a negotiation. Just don't abuse the buyer that you had because you worked hard to get them. So don't scare them off by putting unnecessary contingencies in your agreement. Tip number 8, know your buyer. The best way to do this is to find out who you were when you purchased your home. Were you downsizing? Were you moving up from your last home? Or were you a first-time buyer? Because chances are whoever buys your home is going to be the same exact type of person. And the reason that's important is you can play to what their needs are. Do they need to move quickly? Offer them a 30-day close. Tip number 9, don't move out before you sell. The reason for this is because homes that are vacant, sometimes they look a little forlorn and forgotten. Especially if you've moved out of state and they're winterized, it just doesn't look as appealing as if you have it staged. When you have your TVs mounted and your recliners and your sofas in a certain spot, it's easier for the buyer to picture themselves living in your home. Tip number 10, know exactly why you're selling and don't tell anybody. Keep it to yourself. It's one thing to understand your buyer, but it's another thing to understand yourself. Oftentimes, it's not what you don't say, it's saying too much. For example, if you tell your buyer that you're getting divorced or that you have to move out of state in 45 days or you lose your job offer, that's going to hurt you when it comes to the negotiation phase because they already know why you're moving and they can play to their advantage. Because remember, if you don't have a realtor, you don't have a middleman who can shield you from all that stuff and protect your interests. So just keep that in mind as you move through the process. When they ask you why you're moving, just say, our needs are changing. It's just time. Say something along those lines so you don't show your hand. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe button. Looking forward to putting out some more free content for you. But it's very important that I get some of your feedback. So please, if you got any questions or you want to learn about another topic, comment, and I'll do my best to make a video on that in the future. I have my LinkTree in the description. So if you follow that, you can reach out to me on my website. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.